Hi, welcome to part 2. If you haven't caught up on part 1, it is obviously linked in the playlist. As always, we're going to be discussing realms of engineered madness, familiar madness, psychopathy, Luciferian intelligence, and why women are attracted to madmen. So first we're going to start off by saying one of my favorite books. Dostoevsky does not just write characters, okay? He, in my opinion, incarnates ideas into blood and bone. In this specific body of literature, the human soul itself is fractured and refracted across 3 suns. Each one the embodiment of the human faculty torn from the harmony of the whole. Okay, so let me pull you into this family. Let me pull you into this narrative, because this is how we do reviews around here, okay? Just get used to it, okay? Because my favorite, this is just how we tell stories on this channel. So let me pull you in. We have the father, Fyodor Pavlovich. He is a caricature of carnality unredeemed. He is a patriarch, but in name only, and I think he reflects the spiritual fatherlessness of the post-enlightenment man. Thus, each child of his, because remember he has 3 children, 3 boys, each child becomes a reflection of his personal paradigm. We have the son of reason, Ivan. We have the son of faith, Alyosha, and we have the son of we have okay. He's quite a character. I think he's my favorite, but yeah, we have the son of flesh and carnality, Dmitri. Ivan is the cathedral of intellect but burned from within. He is truly Lucifer but in scholarly form. He is not immoral, he's not amoral, he's not hateful, but he is tormented by the unjustifiable discrepancy between divine omnipotence and innocent suffering, okay? His rebellion, arguably the most philosophically violent chapter of the book, is not an argument for atheism, but a moral refusal of a heaven built on the tears of a child. Guys, this is a very intense book, because it is not the belief in God that Ivan rejects, but the rejection of a God whose justice seems morally incompatible with mercy. Guys, you know that I only read quotes when the book is that good, and yes, in this case, the book is that good in my opinion. So that is what is going to happen. So I have a quote here. This is what Ivan says. "It's not that I don't accept God, you understand. It's just most respectfully that I return him the ticket. This is not a mere protest. This is an ontological mutiny. A sacred grievance that echoes, I think, Lucifer's own refusal to kneel before a divine order that he cannot reconcile with his own moral intuition. In this, Ivan performs the ultimate act of rational self-destruction." Remember how I said that Luciferian intelligence was like absolutely rational? Yes, this is exactly what is happening. He rejects God not for being unreal, but for literally being too real in a way that wounds the conscience. He is too righteous for a God that would allow Auschwitz, and he is too logical to accept divine paradox. Thus, Ivan embodies the first order of disillusionment, the madness literally born from excessive clarity. See, he is not shattered by ignorance, but by knowledge untempered by awe. The hallucinated devil that then goes on to visit Ivan later in the chapter is, it's not a metaphor, okay? It is the internalization of the adversary, the accuser of the brethren. The serpent of reason who, when divorced from mystery, becomes the accuser of God himself. It's chilling, it's awful. The devil's flippant and bureaucratic tone, in Ivan's illusion, trivial, maybe, yet metaphysically accurate, reveals the unbearable banality of evil when filtered through unfiltered reason. I mean, we go back to Isaiah 14. Ivan declares in his inward ascent, "I will be like the Most High. I will ascend above the heights of clouds. I will make myself like the Most High, but there is no throne waiting at the tops." And this is the deception, like, guys. There is no throne waiting at the top. There's only collapse. See what I'm saying? The apex of self-referential intelligence is not enlightenment, it is dissociation. If Ivan is the fallen angel of intellect, then I think honestly, I think Alyosha is the child saint. He's a monastic symbol of unbroken communion. He is the theological inverse of his brother, okay? They're like, I don't know, it's really interesting. They're like opposites. If Ivan, right, was too rational to love, then Alyosha is too trusting to despair. But Alyosha is not naive. He has seen the brokenness of this world. He simply does not try to conquer it through ideology. His strength is an integration, the strength that refuses to separate meaning from love. He is indeed a metaphysical protest, not through rebellion, but through surrender. Alyosha represents the second order of disillusionment overcome, effectively, the willing descent into faith despite the absence of empirical guarantees. He is the spiritual archetype of Christ's wounds. Blessed is he who does not stumble on account of me. He does not need to resolve theodicy because he lives in radical obedience to the God behind the mystery. And this is difficult for a lot of people to grasp, even myself. In a world, I think, trained to believe that intelligence is measured by doubt, Alyosha, he is scandalous because he is Dostoevsky's spiritual insult to the Enlightenment movement. Not because he lacks thought, but because he refuses to worship it. Okay, now we move on to Dmitri. Okay, Dmitri is the sensualist. He is the gospel of broken flesh. This is, guys, I'm just gonna prepare you. Okay, we are dealing with an emotional man. Okay, and I think that's why I have a lot of empathy for him, but I can't excuse his actions. It's, you know why I love this book. You know I love this book because we're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with real people here, and I love narratives that honestly deal uncompromisingly with real people. Dmitri is passionate, he is impulsive, and he is violently alive. He is the archetype of the fallen man who desires transcendence, genuinely, but he cannot discipline his flesh for long enough such that he can sustain it. He lives in the third order of disillusionment. Dimitri's fall, because, spoiler, he obviously does fall, is not ideological but incarnational. He is proof that the body left unsanctified becomes its own prison. Yet Dmitri, I think, for all his chaos, is closer to grace than Ivan, because Dmitri knows at least that he is broken. His repentance is visceral, and you can you could feel it in the pages. His guilt is real, and Dostoevsky implies a deeper truth here, I think. God is nearer to the adulterer than the philosopher who cannot kneel. Dmitri, in his suffering, is capable of resurrection. Taken together, the Karamazov brothers form a theological anthropology. The mind would be Ivan, the spirit would be Alyosha, and the body, obviously, would be Dmitri. Their inability to reconcile is effectively what Dostoevsky mourns. They are the dismembered Adam, wandering through the ruins of Eden, each lost and blind in their own way. So if Ivan is the first fracture, no, I hope you're following with me. If Ivan is the first fracture, the mind breaking under the strain of metaphysical clarity, then the second is the heart's response to chaos. Where logic fails to anchor meaning, desire becomes a coping mechanism. And this is often dressed in the garb of intimacy, but this is don't be naive. This is no ordinary desire here. This is the eroticization of danger. This is the seduction of the abyss. And it is here that we meet Beauty from Beauty and the Beast, not as a fairy tale heroine, okay, but as the modern archetype of the feminine psyche confronting madness. This is another classic that we're going to dissect a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. I almost don't want men to watch this section, if I'm being completely honest, because it's not the kind of information I'm comfortable putting out without some currency of trust attached to it. And I'm not saying I don't trust you guys, but it is simply the level of vulnerability and risk that I'm sensitive to. My channel demographic is mostly male, and I think most of you are, good apples, but like channel demographics where it's mostly female, there are contexts where there are a lot of women who have issues with men, and in the same way, there are a lot of men who have issues with women. And while I know I am fully confident the women who watch me will be fully immune to the manipulations that I'm going to discuss, I'm not worried about the girls who are here. I'm not worried. We'll be fine. We know what we're dealing with. Our greatest pain in life, honestly, is that our friends will not listen to us until it's too late. But I am more worried about the girls who aren't here, who have vulnerabilities that might be preyed upon. I'm slightly concerned for the women who aren't here, who don't know what this is, how this manifests, and might have their vulnerabilities preyed upon, okay? Either way, there are most of you, not even most of you, some of you, because I know some of you who have been watching my channel, especially the gens for since Kingdom Come effectively. Like, I trust you guys. You guys, I trust. I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose to extend that trust to the rest of you if we have new viewers. But I signed up for this. You signed up for this. I'm just, I'm going to believe in the goodness of the gents. Okay. Okay. I'm going to recommend another classic for you. And you guys know that I grew up devouring the classics. And I recommend classics because with classics, there are so many ways that children can independently make up their ideological identities in contempt, in favor of, and or intolerance of the ideas exposited in these classics instead of, being spoon-fed doctrine when you're made to write politically correct essays on modern literature, on modern stories. So that is why I recommend classics. I like that I can recommend Beauty and the Beast for the same reason that somebody else despises it. I like that I like that perceptive reasonings are less static when it comes to the classics. I just like that there are more conversations that can be had when we talk about the classics. I honestly, I have a problem. I just, guys, I like talking, okay? When there are more conversations to be had, I welcome it. I really do. But anyway, the myth of Beauty and the Beast is often misread as a redemptive parable of transformation. Love softening a monster into a man. Most feminists, understandably, are insulted by this. I'm not. I'm not insulted by it, and not because I don't think it's an insulting idea, but because, quite frankly, I don't believe that's the idea at all. Respectfully and with all of my compassion, I think that you might be projecting. I'm not persuaded that Beauty and the Beast is the most severely offensive of misogynistic classic works that I could present before you. I'm sorry. I could do better, guys. That's just the way it is. Anyway, beneath this is a deeper, darker truth. She is drawn to him because he is dangerous. Not in spite of his monstrosity, but because of it. Remember how I told you that men are attracted to women who believe in them, right? Believe in their potential? Yes, we are back there. Why? Because Beauty in this formulation, or at least in my perspective, is a woman who knows what it means to be on the edge of losing her mind. This is precisely why I talked about insanity and disillusionment in part 1 of the series, of this video. Like Ivan, she has stared into the chaos of this world. She has looked into the eye of the storm. She has probably been burnt by it. But unlike Ivan, she does not challenge the gods. No. Beauty seeks protection from them. And the one thing more terrifying than a monster is to be living in a world full of monsters where nobody loves her more than she loves herself. And this is essentially, like, for a woman, this is damnation. The psychopathic male, see, cold and commanding, represents a paradox, you see? He feels nothing, but he protects everything. His lack of empathy is reinterpreted by a broken woman, by a disillusioned woman as mastery over suffering. Guys, you can go ahead and be stoic and and indulge yourself in that ideology. I won't stop you, but me, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. In his presence, Beauty believes that she can be immunized from the world's cruelty because she has allied herself with cruelty, with the ultimate form of cruelty. In a subconscious maneuver of like emotional jujitsu, she clings to the beast so that the beast cannot turn on her. This is not love, okay? This is proximity to power as a bulwark against annihilation. You see how selfish this is? It is a response of rationality. It is a response of Luciferian intelligence incarnated in the female psyche. It is the understanding, the rational, cold understanding that in knowing that true softness will not survive in this world, that softness will always be exploited, softness must therefore be shielded by darkness greater than the one that threatened it. See, it's logical, it's intelligent, it's smart. It's Luciferian. It's proximity to power. Girls don't fall for bad boys because they misunderstand them. They fall for them because they intuit, often correctly, that rage without attachment is safer than vulnerability unprotected. In this context, obviously, psychopathy offers what Ivan could never find. Safety without question. The psychopath does not spiral under the weight of theodicy or morality. He can't. Not because he's, anything to be admired, but because he simply does not care. In a world where the sensitive, and particularly women, I think women are most familiar with this, but yeah, in a world where the sensitive are particularly tormented by the irrationality of suffering, the psychopath acts as some kind of god. To the disillusioned woman, to the hopeless woman, to the tired woman, to the woman sick and usually the woman wearing a mask, often very okay, I'll stop there. I'll stop it. But yes, to the disillusioned woman, to the broken woman, guys, this is the edge of invincibility. Not because he is a god, but because the psychopath is impenetrable. If he loves me, he will not kill me. If he protects me, he cannot destroy me. This is the dark covenant at the heart of beauty's attraction. This is, in my opinion, a secret whisper of like power, whispered from trauma to desire. If I'm cherished by the worst thing that exists, then I'm protected from it. This is not just the logic of fairy tales. This is the psychological calculus of women who are drawn to men who feel more like weapons than human beings, than lovers. But this protection is illusory. The beast, after all, is still a beast. He may protect her, but he will never know her. And in this, the second disillusionment pulls in. The realization that proximity to power, unfortunately, is not intimacy. And for a woman, that loneliness can be it's destabilizing. Like it'll probably most won't survive it. I cannot express to you how distressing and destabilizing that loneliness is. Never being understood, never being known. It's the absence of hope, because usually these women wrestle their entire lives with the idea that they might never fully be understood. It is beyond her appearance, because she's been told her entire life that that's all men ever care about, how you look. That complex often attaches to loneliness, and sometimes it becomes this incurable ideation. If she has some psychopathic potential, she might cheat on you, but that's a conversation for another day. Essentially, what I'm saying is she might cheat to reward herself for enduring a man's superficiality. It's like it's like a double whammy kind of thing, because she also gets to punish you for what she resents you for anyway. Where event collapsed from too much reason, I think beauty dissolves from too much compromise. Her soul was not made to kneel before a monster. It is, remember, she's a human being before she's a woman first, right? She was not made to kneel before monstrous entities. She was made to be seen, held, and understood. Same thing with men. But in her bid to escape the madness of this world, she traded in neutrality for immunity. She essentially sold her soul, and the tragedy is that she believed that love could come from something incapable of it. Peterson admires men who lost themselves. I mean, he warns obviously against psychopathy, but I don't think that he can reliably account for the emotional fragility that it hides. The war, in my opinion, is not between chaos and order. It is between self-created meaning and received meaning. The former ends in madness and the latter in worship. When the intellect dethrones God, the devil is its inheritance. And I don't think I could ever lie to you about what I believe and what I experience in the presence of God, because I respect and honor that you're not necessarily listening to agree with me. Like, I'm a tough sell. I know I'm a tough sell. And what God tells me is that Lucifer tries to exalt himself through intellect, but the saints will inherit the earth through childlike faith. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and slowly, all of these systems and algorithms and conspiracies that I dissect on this channel will dissolve. And the cross interrupts the recursion of control, submission to entities, algorithms, lovers who don't really care about you, who only entertain you for the sake of their own egos. The cross interrupts that recursion. The cross interrupts that baseless submission. And no, in their world, it doesn't matter whether or not you are a narcissist, a psychopath, a disturbed individual. It doesn't matter. In fact, your perversions, your addictions, your pains are just as inconsequential as your life itself in their hierarchy. No one genuinely will care once you're gone in their world. God tells me in everything that he persuades me of, even the things that I don't get, that I don't understand immediately, that you don't have to live in their world. You have consequence in his kingdom. And the recursivity breaks because he declares that you cannot save yourself. Because, as we know, you are already loved. Thanks so much for watching.